goal, and it turned out to happen.
And how would you describe what your role will be like?
It's whatever Tommy and the Wizards would like it to be. They can bounce different things off me. Having been around so long, I've seen most things, I think, maybe a few of them twice. And, however they would like to utilize me is certainly fine with me.
Rod, what is the assessment of the team and the franchise right now?
Well, I think we certainly have a great player in Bradley Beal. We've got a lot of young players. I think that, who need playing time, who need to come along, if you will. I love the spirit that I see out here. So I think it's development of our young players and, around a great player like Bradley Beal.
In your experience, when there are so many young players who need to come along and it seems to be a rebuilding year, what is the most important things to remember during a rebuilding movement?
That, from a coaching standpoint, that you're developing your players. That's one thing. From a playing standpoint, that you play as hard as you possibly can every night. That you work, in the gym to get better, because that's how guys get better. And you see it every year with a lot of young players. They make big jumps, from one year to the next because they've worked at their craft and the coaches have worked with them, and there's a natural progression. It's hard to go from A to C, but if you work hard enough, you can go from A to B to C. And that's certainly what we're hoping is that our young players, we've got a player like Rui who is, played very well in the summer, played very well for the Japanese national team, and, looks like a player who's going to be a very good player. So, how will his progression be? How will he play? Certainly going to get an opportunity, and we're looking forward to him developing into a very good NBA player.
How would you kind of describe in general your philosophy of team building?
Well, number one, you have to have players. That's the first thing. In this league, there are a lot of good teams, and I think more good teams this year than maybe we've seen for a while. So you have to get as many good players as you can, and you've got to coach them and help them to get better. That's the only way to do it.
What did you make of the shift of kind of the pairs, Kawhi and Paul George, and kind of instead of the big three, maybe now people are calling it the big two again? What did you make of that?
Well, I was with Milwaukee last year, and we saw enough of Kawhi. What a great player, and obviously led Toronto to the championship. When players are free agents, as Kawhi was, then you go where you want to go. For the teams that lose these players, they're irreplaceable. But if you're a free agent, you go where you want to go. Now, some guys aren't free agents and move. That's a little bit different story. But Los Angeles now has two great teams, so that's going to be a story that we'll be reading about all year.
So having two stars instead of three allow the rest of the roster to kind of be fleshed out. Are there advantages to that, do you think?
It depends on who the stars are. If they're Paul George and Kawhi, then you're going to have a good team. If they're LeBron and Anthony Davis, you're going to have a very good team. Probably two of the five best players in the league on one team, so they're going to be good. And but the West is really good. There are probably five teams in the West that have a legitimate chance to win the championship, and probably two or three over on the eastern side. So I think we have more teams that have a legitimate chance to win the championship this year than we've had.
You've been a part of a few front offices. What are your early impressions of the group that they've put together with kind of more people and more specialized roles?
I think they're on the way to something very good. I think Mr. Leonsis has done a good job in fleshing out what he wants, and they've hired a lot of people. A lot of people in specialized areas. So I think they're definitely on the way to having a terrific franchise.
In Milwaukee, obviously, you were with one of the youngest GMs in the league,
Yes.
John. And although Tommy's been around forever, this is his first year as the GM. What would you say are the challenges for a young or first-year GM?
Stay the course. You're going to have your ups and downs, during the year, and particularly with a younger group. And stay the course. You're developing players. You're trying to get players to mix together as quickly as you possibly can, but it's a process. So stay the course.
Do you expect to be here on a daily basis? Are you traveling as well?
No, I won't be here on a daily basis. But you're in today's world, you're a phone call away, and I expect to have a lot of conversations. But no, I won't be here on a daily basis.
From an actual duty standpoint, what do you expect your involvement to be like?
As I said before, whatever Tommy and the team, would like out of me, that's what I will certainly attempt to do. From critiquing whatever they would like me to critique to, again, I've been around for a long, long time and have a lot of experience, and hopefully I'll be able to help in that area also. But it's up to whatever Tommy would like is what I'll do.
What did you help with in Milwaukee?
Pretty much the same thing. Milwaukee had a young GM and John Horst, who did a terrific job, by the way. But I was a sounding board for him, and I think he would tell you that helped him in a lot of different ways.